to getting involved with a group, especially when you know people in that group far surpass your ability. It is daunting,
Yes,
but you have to
absolutely.
remember that if you can just hold on to someone's coattails for 500 more meters, the next week it'll be a kilometer, the next week it'll be 1.5, and before you know it, you've upgraded, you've brought yourself to a new level. So, and for those who are good runners, what I have found I've had to do when I was in peaker fitness was that, listen, I am going to be running at a 7 minute kilometer, and they're like, oh, well, I can run at a 6 minute, and then all of a sudden they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Um, and then during that session, when everyone settles down, you can say, do you fancy doing a few pickups, or so that's one element that's really hard to go from solo to running with people, especially when you base it off ability. Could be a very Irish thing. I don't know.
Speaking of solo runs, let's say you are doing a solo run. Next question. At Jack Ban 1984, what's the best way to prepare for morning runs, long or short? We're assuming it's not in a group because one of the best ways is just while you're in that group, you're at that time, it's in the morning. You just got to make your way to that start line, I suppose, and then just whatever that is, and just go from there. Which I think is great because it gives you that extra bit of accountability. Whereas there's been long runs where I'm have to do, if I'm like, I've got somewhere between 9 and 12 to get an hour and a half run in, I'll probably start at half 10.
Yeah, and you'd be racing back to be back at 12. So
Yeah.
I think for us anyway, there's the carrot and the stick, and myself and you, we just always go for the stick. It's just there's just we don't even like carrots. Like it's just not there. But I think that is if you lack that element, and it happens to everyone, that element of that discipline to just get it done at the time you said you were going to do it, and it happens me a lot. It happens Sean a lot. I'm sure it happens to a lot of the listeners a lot. But it never gets better. That's one thing. I'll just wait 30 minutes, and then you're under more pressure. And then you wait another 30 minutes. And now all of a sudden, oh, I haven't got enough time. I won't do it today. That's all it leads into, is just delayed or missed session.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of preparing, don't do what I do on Christmas morning, have 6 Baileys. Um, I wouldn't recommend that. Get your run in before the Baileys. And yeah, no, it's in terms of preparation as well. It's like anything. Having your stuff done the night before, the bag packed, the shoes done. Like there's a book called Atomic Habits, and I don't know, many people have probably read it. It has
Mm.
grown in its popularity since probably me and you read it about 5 years ago, maybe, Sean.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I had the Audacity version. Not the Audacity. That's the thing.
yeah, the
Anyway,
listening
the
one,
the listening
and
one,
the
Audible,
picture
Audible
book,
version, the
the
picture book.
picture book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
pop
yeah.
ups each day what's doing as well. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
for those of us who can read, there's a good book called Atomic Habits. But yeah, but in that book it talks about like the little things. So particularly now at Christmas, now I'm in Vietnam, so it's very different for me. I'm literally eating chicken and rice 4 times a day, so it's fantastic. But when you're surrounded with the chocolates, when you're surrounded with this, when you're surrounded with that, that carries into January, and then before you know it, we're looking at Easter eggs. You're constantly surrounded by temptation, and like little things of preparing your gear the night before,
Mm.
preparing snacks, and what that means is like, so if you know you like chicken pieces, and but you also have chocolate in your fridge, if you prepare chicken pieces that'll last 3 4 days in the fridge, so when you open the fridge, the closest thing to your hand is, probably a bad example, chicken pieces or fruit or whatever. You've built an atomic habit, that the ease, because your body just wants ease, you're building that in. And I suppose preparation, no matter what you do, for a run, for a diet, for a training plan, for going on holidays, everything is preparation. And the later you leave that, the more likelihood you have of something going wrong. And when you have your shoes and your gear and everything laid out,
Mm.
you remove resistance to getting things done. And that's basically what habits are. It's, can you remove the resistance?